Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Ball Cap Bible Study. You see I have a new ball cap with the letter I on there. Just to give you a little hint on what that's about, we had a vacation. I can't use the word wonderful, although all vacations are wonderful compared to not ever getting one, but we got run out of Florida by Hurricane Ian. Story of my life. I'm the only guy who will plan a vacation during hurricane season. So that's what happened. We were hoping it would go west, but then it cranked right and headed right towards Orlando. So we actually spent more time in the car driving there and back than we did actually in Florida. So that's just how it goes. And we did make the most of the 3 days we were there. Thank you for your prayers. Many of you have asked how it went and all. As you know, I like ball caps, especially ones that fit like this a lot. And I couldn't find one down in Orlando that I liked, that fit well, that had an image on it that I wanted. And so as luck would have it, we're driving home, and I think it was even on Thursday between Alabama and Oklahoma. We stopped at a Love's for gas, and I was looking at their really cheap ball. They have a what they call a dump bin where they just put a bunch of ball caps for $5.99, and I found this one. Of course, the I, it's a college hat, so it's supposed to stand for Illinois, but for me and for this trip, it stands for Hurricane Ian. This is my hurricane hat now, so this will always remind me of that trip. And of course, every Monday I'm going to be wearing a ball cap doing this Bible study for you with you and some announcements. So let's do the announcements, and then we'll get into some Bible study that you have specifically asked for. We have a couple of things going on in the next week or two, and I'll share those. So first of all, this Friday is my birthday. October 7th, I was born 59 years ago, 1963. And the irony is that next year I get to be my own pastor. So I'll be a senior adult. No, I'm just playing, but it's my birthday this Friday, and then Monday is my dad's birthday. And many of you have asked about him, and thank you, and keep praying, because he's still got to get some scans and figure out what's going on there, how the radiation did. And I'm praying that it's still radiating, that it's still cooking, and it's still killing those cancer cells. So keep praying for Grant Cruz. Monday the 10th, he will be 80 years old. So we're going to have a big family celebration this weekend, Sunday after church. I keep bumping into my desk. Sorry for shaking that. But we're going to do that. And my sister's going to fly in from North Carolina, and so hopefully we'll have the whole nuclear family there over at their house on Sunday to celebrate our birthdays, but mostly his. So that's a family announcement. So just wanted to say thank you for your prayers, both on us getting home safely from our hurricane trip, and the irony is it only rained on us for like 30 minutes the whole time. But I tell you what, when we were getting out of Florida on Tuesday evening, so were 2 million other people. And many of you have heard this story, but as we went to Universal Studios theme park Tuesday and just kind of rolled the dice and prayed it wouldn't, get crazy in it. And it didn't rain. We had a great day there. That was probably our best day. Other than Thursday when we were driving home. That was a great day too. But anyway, we had a good time. And so after walking all day in a theme park, we left at 5 p.m. heading out of trying to get out of Florida. And the traffic moved well, but there was a lot of it. And so many people were leaving, we couldn't find a room. We drove until 1:30 at night in the morning, and didn't find a room until we were 40 miles northwest of Atlanta. everything was, everywhere we stopped was booked. So, and we weren't going to get too far off the main, route. So we stayed there on the highway, and where the Hampton Inn where we stayed, we got the very last room because one, they told us at the desk, but two, you knew it was the last room because we were in the handicap room, and they always save those for last. So anyway, enough of that. So keep praying for my dad. Thanks for the prayers that got us home safely, and we were able to avoid the hurricane. And coming up on a week from tomorrow, October 11th, will be Leisure Live Wires, and we will have Ms. Cheryl Presley. She is the triad coordinator for the Oklahoma City Police Department, and her job is to let folks know how to stay safe. And so she's going to be speaking to us about the new scams, especially with the COVID shutdown. There's so many things, new forms of the grandparent scam, and just on and on and on. And especially online now. I mean, Joe Cannon spoke yesterday about how he put a notice about a garage sale he was having on Facebook Marketplace. And within just a few minutes, he had 10 or 12 scammers contacting him, trying to get information from him. So she's going to have a lot of good information that we need to take seriously, because even the sharpest of folks can get scammed. All the things that come in your email now and on text can look legitimate, and they're not. If you have not, I know this, I was a network administrator and computer guy, information technology specialist, and information security officer for the government. And here's the rule of thumb that just always rings true. If you did not solicit it, if it came to you without you asking for it, the email or the text or whatever, don't click on it, just delete it. If some, and there are places like the IRS and all that will never ever call you or ask for a credit card number. They always use the mail, official documents, and that kind of thing. So all right, so that's Leisure Live Wires on the 11th. We'll have a good meal there. Actually, it's gonna be a fun meal. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go ahead and let the cat out of the bag, because October is World Series month. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet, or whatever that was. But anyway, we're gonna have a good time of hot dogs and apple cobbler, and I think some broccoli salad and potato salad. Anyway, it's gonna be good little meal. If you like hot dog, we'll have all the fixings, so it won't just be a hot dog and a bun. You can have onions or chili or cheese, or anything you want to put on there. So yeah, come and enjoy. $5, bring a friend. This is one where you really do want to bring a friend, and let them hear about those things that are going on. So it'll be good information, good time, good food, good fun. So come to that. And then something I think is really, really important. The next Tuesday, on the 18th, we're going to have a really special Pray for the Nation time, 11 o'clock in the parlor, 11 a.m., obviously. And this is the pre-election one. There won't be another, monthly Pray for the Nation before the elections. And so we want to pray for the nation. You will see in your Sunday school classes, your Connect groups, you'll see some flyers, some handouts that we've made for the next 6 weeks, 5 weeks. There were some in there this Sunday with point number 1. There'll be 5 points, and then on the Sunday before the elections, we'll have one with all the points. They're not partisan. They're not even political. They're just, they have Bible verses attached, and it's like, can't we just stand for truth and righteousness and that kind of thing? Often I'll have someone ask me, like as a church or as staff, who are we endorsing? Like asking me who to vote for. What are we standing for? What bills are we supporting, and all that. And my answer, because here's just, I'm just giving you my heart. My answer is, we endorse Christ, and we support righteousness. I mean, what else can we do? Colossians 3:17, one of my favorite verses, says, whatever you do in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord. Well, that includes your vote and your political position. So I mean, there's no wiggle room in the word whatever. So whatever you do, everything you do, does it honor God? Does it bring light into a dark world? That kind of thing. So we endorse Christ and we support righteousness. And here's the deal: if we can't by now, if we can't look at two candidates and look at their positions on things like life, sanctity of life, different things, recreational drug use, all that kind of stuff. If we can't look at those candidates and those issues and know which way to vote, then really the finger's pointing at me. I've done a horrible job of discipling if we don't know where we stand on those issues. So just bring it back to me, and I'll fall on the sword on that. But with that said, let's get into the actual Bible study, and we'll talk about so the many of the things once I mentioned as we went through the Beatitudes, that many scholars see the Beatitudes and the fruit of the Spirit kind of aligned, and you can do a parallel study. And some of you said you would be interested in that, and so that's what we're going to do today. Last week when I was in Florida, we kind of briefly went over the fruit of the Spirit, but let's look at the fruit of the Spirit. And remember, this Galatians chapter 5 is a contrast between the flesh and the spirit. Kind of that. You ever seen the cartoon with the shoulder angel and the shoulder devil, and they're saying, do it, no, don't, do it, don't. So that's kind of where Paul is in chapter 5, and he's saying, here's all the stuff of the flesh. It's obviously bad, but the fruit of the Spirit is this. So the fruit of the Spirit, for lack of a better term, is evidence of your spiritual condition and your spiritual walk. That's the fruit that you produce. That's stuff that automatically comes out. Many times when I'm in front of a group of senior adults, I'll say, what do you think my job is? And they'll say, oh, your job is to lead us and take us on trips and, do funerals and all that. And I'm like, no, I mean, yeah, I do that, but that's not my function, my job. My job is to make sure you don't turn into raisins, that you stay plump and juicy and attractive and pickable and that kind of thing. So there's no shriveling up allowed, and until you're laying there in that box. So that's, when you look at fruit of the Spirit and you think of yourself, stay plump and ripe and pickable and juicy and attractive. Don't shrivel up and turn into a raisin. Stay engaged, stay active, stay serving, that kind of thing. So let's look at the fruit of the Spirit there. This is Galatians chapter 5, verse 22. Here we go. You know this, but I'm going to read it anyway. So he starts with the word but, because he's contrasting flesh and spirit. Now this Spirit is capital S. It's the Holy Spirit. So when we go and contrast here in a minute, the first beatitude, it's a little s. It's your spirit. So here we go. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. So, what if this is you, if this describes you, there's no violation of the law. This cannot violate the law, versus all the things that were listed above in the fleshly desires. So we talked last time about some scholars think that the main fruit of the Spirit is love, or the fruit of the Spirit is love, and all the other things come out of that. Like joy is love's pleasure, peace is love's long suffering reward, that kind of thing. So it doesn't really matter. We're going to go through them all anyway, because there are 9 of them and 9 beatitudes, and they will parallel. Okay, so the fruit of the Spirit is love. Now, here's the thing. We're told by John in his epistles, not the gospel, that God is love, that's his nature, that's his character, that's who he is. God is love. And so the fruit of the Spirit is going to be love initially. And the first thing is going to be love, the first fruits, so to speak. We always think of the harvest and giving of our first fruits and that kind of thing. Well, the very first fruit that is described of the Spirit is love. Well, that makes sense. That doesn't contradict, does it? And in hermeneutics, which is the big seminary word for interpreting the Bible, you always use the Bible to interpret the Bible. It can't contradict itself. So if God is love, then it makes sense that the fruit of the Spirit is love, that first fruit, so to speak. Well, also, when you look at that 1 Corinthians 13 chapter, love is patient, love is kind, love is, selfless, all that. That sounds a lot like fruit of the Spirit, doesn't it? So Paul has a theme going with that. Now, let's look at the first beatitude again. Okay. Remember, the beatitudes are kind of those oxymorons that, we think are, they're like contrary and they're opposite of how the world would do. The world is selfish and the beatitudes are selfless. So here we go. And obviously the difference is Paul is writing here to the church at Galatia, and Jesus is talking at the Sermon on the Mount. And after we do this parallel study, we're going to look at the Sermon on the Mount. It may take us 2 years at this pace, but we're going to go through the Sermon on the Mount, because I think today more than ever in this culture, it needs to be heard again. Sometimes you ever heard the saying, we need to see it again for the first time? That's kind of where we are now. All right. Blessed, how happy, how fortunate is the English and other meanings of that original Greek or Aramaic. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Wow. So the first beatitude is being poor in spirit, and or not haughty. Okay. What's the difference in rich in spirit? Thinking highly of yourself. Your spirit is what matters, your desire, that kind of thing. But being poor in spirit is that ultimate position of selflessness, being spiritually bankrupt until you hit your knees and realize that you don't have what it takes. You need God. Being poor in spirit is being, there's a word for not having money. We call it broke. Well, if you're poor in spirit, you're broken that way as well. You're broke. You've been broke spiritually. So blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. What Jesus is saying is if your desire is heaven, it doesn't come out of selfishness. It doesn't come out of thinking highly of yourself. It doesn't come out of haughtiness, that kind of thing. And so when you see poor in spirit, and then that first spiritual fruit being love, boy, those just dovetail, don't they? It's not about me. That old acronym JOY, Jesus, others, and you. It's being poor in spirit is being totally selfless, is being totally broken, being totally, without selfish desire. So that's what love is. How much do you love someone? You get to that thing. Who would you give a kidney to? Who would you die for? The fruit of the Spirit is love. And, if you're a grandparent, you understand love. If you're a parent, you understand love. Rachel would probably punch me, but, if she was standing in front of a bus coming at her, I would shout, get out of the way. But if my kids are standing in front of the bus, I would try to Superman dive and shove them out of the way. So, who would you take a bullet for? And it's not that I don't love Rachel. I love her with all my heart, more than myself. But there's an instinctive love for your children. And, our relationship with God is parental, isn't it? So the fruit of the Spirit is love, and love coincides with being poor in spirit. So think of it this way: the fruit of the capital S Spirit is love. Being poor in little s spirit is supposed to be us for kingdom of heaven. So the more of the capital S Spirit love we should have less of the little s haughtiness or selfishness in us. I say it this way sometimes: the more I can empty myself of me, the more room there is for God. Does that make sense? So, so being poor in spirit allows more room for love, and especially God's love. So, uh, we'll never comprehend what that means, what God, that agape, God's love is. We can get a glimpse of it, with especially a lot of grandparents demonstrate agape love, unconditional love for their grandkids. Um, I don't know why, it just seems to work out that way. But so that's our first parallel. I'd be interested to know your comments. So, in this video somewhere, there's a place for comments. You can I see some guys beg for likes. I don't care if you hit the like button, but I'd love to hear your feedback. Also, you can subscribe, and then, because this is a hidden link, because I don't want people trolling us. This is just for you. This isn't for the whole world to see. I don't care if you share it. I'd be honored if you share it. Send it to friends, family, neighbors, whatever, your kids, whoever you want to send it to. I send it to some people outside, but you can only see this video if you actually have the link, either in a text or an email or something like that. We hide it from the world. You can't go search and find this link. So that's all I have. Don't forget Leisure Live Wires with Cheryl Presley, and then Pray for the Nation. And this one seemed long today, but I had to get some stuff in here and explain the trip and all that. So thank you. Oh yeah, Friday. What's Friday? Oh, Friday's my birthday. All right. Love you guys.